Hello class, my name is Saria. Today I will be presenting a summary of the article Process Approaches in EFL Writing Instruction by Bernard Susser. The purpose of this presentation is to define process approaches and examine their role in English as a second language or English as a foreign language writing instruction, as brought out in this article. It is my purpose and goal that each one will become more familiar with these approaches and can understand how to make application of the information that is summarized. There are several approaches that one can use when teaching writing to anyone. At times, the different approaches can be conflicting and/or confusing. In his article, Process Approaches in EFL Writing Instruction, Bernard Susser goes into process as it applies to its role in EFL Writing Instruction. In my summation of this article, we will be covering 4 main points that are the foundation of this article. We will first learn the 3 different meanings of process. Secondly, I will discuss the 2 main elements of process writing pedagogies based on Susser's article and research. The third area I will go over is regarding the analyzation of process approaches accepted in EFL composition. And finally, I will cover the problems in implementing process writing pedagogies in EFL writing instruction. So let's begin with the 3 different meanings of process. They are 1. To mean the act of writing itself. 2. To describe writing pedagogies. And 3. To designate a theory or theories of writing. The article brings out that the first mention of process language composition literature came about in the early 20th century. And this was pretty much based on John Dewey's idea that learning is a process. After that, this term was found in many types of writing processes, with writing as the writing process, composing, and all words such as this pretty much being synonyms. And it talks about writing as being multifarious, meaning that there was a variety of different components to this writing. According to Susser's article, the second way process is used was to describe writing pedagogies. Harrison in 1982 spoke about processing theory as a process-centered theory of teaching writing. And then Berlin in 1982 mentions the process-centered approaches to writing instruction. Finally, Friedman, Dyson, Flower, and Schaaf in 1987 talked about a confusion over exactly what a process approach is. And it was brought out in this article that there's confusion as to exactly what process pedagogies were, associated with several writing theories being made more popular. It talks about them being arrogated even by rhetorics that were previously antithetical to such pedagogies, such as classical rhetoric. And then it also talked about the gap between educational theory and educational practice. This article brought out, however, that the main reason for this confusion is the third meaning of process, which is to designate a theory or theories of writing. It brought out that this has been used incorrectly in a third sense. Hairston, in 1982, referred to this process as a new paradigm. Susser mentioned that he used the term writing process when the process is a synonym for the act of writing, and process writing to refer to the process based on writing pedagogies. He made an interesting point when he wrote that the misconception is reinforced by product-based pedagogies that use rivers of red ink to tell the students only if they got it right or wrong. That is so true. There are so many times when I was in school and the teacher would mark up my paper telling me that I got something wrong, and then I would be confused as to exactly what it was that I got wrong. Moving along, Susser talked about two main elements of process writing pedagogies: awareness and intervention. Awareness is where writing is a process of discovery, and this is where ideas are generated and one makes a choice based upon their awareness. Here, Susser brings out that there are different processes for different kinds of writings. Therefore, students who are aware of writing processes, they can then choose the process that suits their writing style and the particular writing task that they are about to undertake. On the other hand, there's the element of intervention. Now, this is teacher involvement with the student, and in this aspect, one is able to organize, rethink, revise, rewrite. Also, there's peer involvement, so it's a more hands-on with multiple people taking part in the writing assignment. In analyzing process approaches accepted in English as a second language and English as a foreign language composition, I looked at this section and divided it by decades. According to Susser's article, the books and manuals and any kind of writing instruction regarding the 1960s pretty much dealt with audiolingual principles and current traditional rhetoric or approaches. It focused on grammar instruction, which had controlled composition and grammar corrections, or the correct form of grammar. Moving to the 1970s, there was more expressive and creative processes where there was more collaboration and more peer correction. And then along these lines, the 1980s brought more into the process writing pedagogies where there was pre-writing strategies, self-monitoring, and then peer critiques. So more involvement. Okay, finally to conclude, after all this work with coming up with the process writing pedagogies and ESL, EFL Writing Instruction, since it wasn't widely accepted and there were problems in implementing the process, this involved the level of practice as well as how educated the teacher was on the writing instruction, how consistent it was being used or not used. And the article, I believe, concluded on a positive note as it talked about the problems that were faced in the past. And yet, despite those problems in the past, today, process writing is accepted. And teachers and educators are invited to know about this and even learn about this so that they can use these tools in their second language instruction. Well, class, that concludes my summation of this article. I hope that it was informative, and I hope that I covered all the major points.